Hi guys, imagine the following crazy scenario. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak one night jumps on social media and writes the following. Last Saturday afternoon, Keir Starmer beat up an elderly person outside his house, took their wallet, removed £20 and used it to buy bottles of Buckfast. Now Keir Starmer, not being very happy about this in this scenario, sues Sunak for libel. Sunak says, okay, I was wrong, but I won't reach into my massive pocket to pay you compensation. I will ask the taxpayer instead. Sounds nuts, right? Well, that's pretty much what a Tory minister did recently. Have a listen to this.
You've seen the story of Michelle Donelan, and we've had an email from a listener actually wants to ask you this question. Michelle Donelan has had to pay for libel damages to someone, and it actually looks like the taxpayer is paying for it. Do you think taxpayers should pay for the libel misdemeanours of government figures?
Yeah, I did see this story very briefly, and I understand the situation is that there were some very concerning messages that were liked about Hamas by someone who is in a public role. And obviously, I don't want to. I do think that people would want to see people. Yeah, exactly. People who are in these publicly paid roles ought to make sure that any communications that they are making don't endorse a terrorisit, an organisation that's been...
But Michelle Donelan in a public role shouldn't libel people, and now she has been found libeling people. Who should pay for it? Should we pay for it as the taxpayer, or should she?
I think the taxpayer would want to make sure that people in public roles don't endorse terrorist organisations.
No,
to endorse terrorist organisations.
But she didn't, because it was a libel. So we can put that to one side because this was accepted as a libel by Michelle Donelan herself. The question is not about the person she was referring to. The question is, she libelled someone, who pays? The taxpayer or Michelle Donelan?
It appears to be in a public role. I don't know the details about this, but I do think that taxpayers would want to make sure that everyone who's being paid on the public payroll isn't endorsing a
but taxpayers will not want to pay for someone else's libel. Do you agree with that? A taxpayer shouldn't pay for a government libel.
Again, I will look into this one, but I feel very strongly that no one in a publicly paid role ought to even. I think people would be concerned if there was any.
Yeah, but this person didn't, because it was a libel. I understand, but the point is that's not how libel works. The libel works on what was the meaning. The meaning was found to be wrong. Michelle Donelan has libelled this person, so it's not about what but maybe she was right. She wasn't right. It was a libel.
Well, I'm very cautious here. I don't want to be drawn into any allegations of libel.
Why is she laughing? Why does she find this so funny? Do you understand what he's asking you? He's not asking you about what was said. He's asking you about who should pay for it. Should it be the government minister who effed up, or should it be the taxpayer? And if you can't answer that simple question, yes, the government minister, the person responsible for the libel, should actually pay the compensation, not the taxpayer. What is so difficult to understand there? Is she really this stupid? I think it's a bit early for a Fool of the Week, but bloody hell. It's a simple answer, yes. The person who libelled the other individual should pay the compensation, not the taxpayer. Now, if the government had instructed her to say this, that's different. But she decided herself to share this tweet or respond or whatever she did. Once again, whatever she did is irrelevant to the conversation here. The question is, should the taxpayer pick up the bill when somebody F's up? No, the answer is no. If they messed up, they should resign. They should be sacked. They should pay the compensation themselves. The taxpayer should not. Think about it. On the week, there's a budget, and the government are saying we need to cut back. We need to reduce public services. You have a government minister. I think it's a government minister who's putting her hand into the exchequer's coffers and using that money to compensate somebody she has libelled. Just let that sit and marinate in your mind for a moment. Can you think of any other job where you F up, you insult somebody, you libel somebody, and your company pays for it, but it's not even your company because it's the taxpayer that's paying for this. It's not even the government. It's not the Tory party. The Tory party, if they wanted to support her, should pay for this. Why isn't she asking the Tory party to compensate this individual that has been libelled? Why is it the taxpayer that is paying it? When there are cuts to public services, when people are going hungry, when more and more people are relying on food banks, when people are having their benefits cut because they miss an appointment, or they miss an interview, or they fill out a form wrong. These people are being punished when you have a government minister literally libelling people. And she hasn't denied it, she has agreed with it. Yeah, I have libelled this person. And she's putting her hand in the taxpayer's pocket to compensate this individual. This is beyond ridiculous. Like, the scenario I introduced was pretty ridiculous, but it's not that different. Can you imagine if Rishi Sunak had libelled Keir Starmer and then decided, well, I'm not actually going to pay for the compensation. I'm going to ask the taxpayer to do it instead. And the taxpayer, unfortunately, can't say, actually, no, we're not going to allow this to happen, because it's already been paid. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.